Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to use address function in your Google Sheets. As you can see on my screen, I have the formula or function syntax, and then I have the explanation here on my right hand side, which explains what is a syntax. So if you write down the address for formula or function, you have these options: row, column, absolute number, and A1 notation, and then the sheet. So row number, obviously it reflects the row which you're selecting. Column, uh, which column you're going to be selecting. Now I'm going to explain what is absolute number while writing the formula. It will be easier you to understand, but to consider what you want to be absolute, whether it is row or column, that is decided by this absolute number. And then we have a1, which is true or false. So if you select true, it will give you the cell reference. If you select false, then it will give you the row or column number in the formula. Now we have the last option, which is called sheet. So if you are calling from any other sheet, from different sheet, like in the different tabs, then you can write it down the sheet name, so it will be generating address for the sheet. So let's write it down for the entire syntax, then we will explore these absolute numbers. Now first I'm going to type equals to, and then address, select it, and then as you can see it is reflecting here. So first I'm going to select 2, that is a row, comma 3, that is a column. Now absolute relative mode, which is, so which row or column you want to make it as absolute reference. So I'm going to select this time 1, which will make my row and column both absolute. And then I'm going to select notation as true, no need to add in double quotes. And then I'm going to give a sheet name. So let's assume I have a sheet 2 in double quotes, obviously. So sheet 2. Now if I close the parenthesis, it will give you the address for sheet 2 and for this cell reference, which is C2. So call row number 2 and column 3. A, B, C, C is a column 3 and 2 is a row. If I hit enter, as you can see, I can see here the address function is calling uh, C2 from the sheet 2. So this is clear. Now we're going to explore what the absolute number or references 1, 2, 3, 4 will change in the formula. So I'm going to write down the formula here once again for better understanding. Let's type it down. Address here. Now I'm going to select row number 2, column number 3. Now I'm going to give the relative absolute relative mode as 1, which makes my row and column both are absolute. Now we can see the dollar symbol is added for both of these. So what does absolute and absolute reference does is it will not move when you drag the formula, it will stick to C2. Now let's go to second option, which we have as a 2, and now I'm going to select the same thing, 2, row number 3, column. Now this time I'm going to select 2, which makes my row as a absolute and the column is relative. So when I drag the formula, then after writing this function, so when I drag, the column changes from C to D, but row remains the same. Now let's explore the third one, which is row number 2, column 3, and then I'm writing the formula as 3. Now you can see the column is absolute. Now row number changes. So when you drag the formula, the row number keeps on changing, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the column remains same. Now we have third option in the address function, which is row number 2, comma column 3, and then I have 4, which gives you nothing as absolute, but both will be relative. Now you can see it is calling C2. So when you drag the formula, it changes the column, also it can change the row number. So this is how address function works. So when you are combining this address function with the other functions where you need to tweak little bit between the column and rows to be as absolute or relative, you can use this function. And then what happens if I don't choose any absolute reference? So let's assume you're writing and the column row number as 2 and column 3, because so writing down everything, because it takes a lot of time, so you want just to row and column to be reflected. But what happens is when you select only 2, it will give you the it will be selecting by default one number 1 as a option, and then if you click on it, it will give you the absolute reference for both column and rows, because most of the times we do select this absolute reference for both column and rows. So that is the reason there is a by default option is given for 1. So this is how address function works. We'll make one more video with another examples where we can use with other functions along with the address. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my video.